Hello, welcome to LMU Community TV News. I'm Ashley Hurley. Thank you for joining us. A Harrogate man was indicted by the Bell County Grand Jury on 3 counts: second-degree terroristic threatening, third-degree terroristic threatening, and harassing communications. Earlier reports state that 36-year-old David Lunsford was arrested after allegedly making threats against a local pastor, his church, and school on his Facebook page. Lunsford was arrested on the charges and on September 18th and was booked in to the Bell County Detention Center on September 19th. He has remained behind bars since that time and on a full cash bond of $25,000. The Bell County Sheriff's Office released a statement that they, along with the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office, arrested Lunsford after a complaint was filed by Pastor William Boyd Bingham of Binghamtown Church and Gateway Christian School. Bingham told authorities that he was alerted about the threats made against him and the school, and the threats were reported to be on social media. The release states that the FBI contacted the Secret Service, and with the assistance of the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office, they made a home visit to Lunsford's home for questioning. The Secret Service determined that they would not press federal charges against him, but he is placed on a watch list to monitor his actions. Lunsford is due back in court on November 20th. Last week in Claiborne County Criminal Court, 35-year-old William Quentin Littrell pled guilty to the November 6, 2014 vehicular homicide of a passenger in his Jeep Grand Cherokee. Littrell allegedly lost control of his vehicle while traveling along North Broad Street in Tazewell. According to the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the Jeep landed upside down and resulted in the death of Ashley Noah. The statement from THP says that Littrell was very unsteady, his speech was slurred, and he appeared drowsy. Littrell was initially charged with vehicular homicide and driving under the influence, but under his plea agreement, his sentence was reduced to 1 count of vehicular homicide. He was sentenced to a split confinement of 10 years through Tennessee Department of Corrections on supervised probation with 1 year jail time. Littrell must pay $150 per month in court costs, and that will begin after his release from jail. He must also submit to either weekly drug screenings or wear a drug patch. He is also barred from any communication with members of the victim's family, and his license will be revoked for 5 years. A Tazewell man pled guilty in Claiborne County Criminal Court to reduce charges of kidnapping and aggravated assault. 23-year-old William James Allen was initially charged with aggravated domestic assault, aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer, vandalism, and resisting stop, halt, frisk. In an affidavit filed by Sergeant Sean Good, he states that he came face-to-face with the hatchet-wielding Allen inside his residence. He was ordered to drop the weapon, but Allen refused and only raised the hatchet higher. The suspect was eventually persuaded to drop the hatchet and knife and get on the ground. Good continues that when he attempted to handcuff Allen, he began to try to fight him. Sergeant Good then subdued him with the use of his taser. Allen was sentenced to a split confinement of 10 years in Tennessee Department of Corrections probation with 1 year confinement. He was given credit for 57 days of jail time, and that was served prior to his hearing. Upon release from jail, he must pay $100 in court costs per month and wear a monitoring device. Allen is also barred from having any communication with his wife. The nation celebrated our veterans last Wednesday, and local group Vets Serving Vets stays busy throughout the year helping veterans right here in our community. The mission of the group is to take care and help veterans acclimate back into the community by serving and honoring those men and women. Along with repairing veterans' homes, they also hold concerts, participate in local activities, and sell t-shirts that promote the group to help fund their projects. Vets Serving Vets has a new home, and on Veterans Day they held an open house to welcome the community to visit them and celebrate. Their new location is on Fountain Square at the corner of 20th Street and Cumberland. The group was also presented a check of support from Beacon of Light Family Chiropractic. Now, they also participated this past Saturday in the 3rd annual Christmas Shopping Expo, and that was held at the National Guard Armory. They will be raising money for their foundation, and they provided food and refreshments. And for more information on Vets Serving Vets and to keep up with the dates and their upcoming events and fundraisers, you can like their Facebook page. The Federal Bureau of Investigation defines an active shooter as an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and other populated area. This worst-case scenario presents unique challenges for college campuses, such as right here at Lincoln Memorial University. Over the past 2 weeks, Director of Campus Safety, Operations and Emergency Preparedness Facilitator Cesar Gracia and Campus and Public Safety Specialist Stephen Murphy have held active shooter training for faculty and staff throughout the campus. The training focuses on dealing with an active shooter incident and further prepares faculty and staff on how to respond to an incident as a first responder and how to also handle both the shooter and any victims. Gracia told LMU Community TV that in light of all the active shooter situations that have been happening across the country, they want to have the officers and armed guards trained on how to use the safest protocols to protect the students and faculty on campus. Coming up after the break, we have an update on a soldier's journey home and the totals that were raised Friday night. So be sure you keep it right here on LMU Community TV News.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey. She's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
There was a huge crowd in Speedwell Friday night to kick off the house build for Lance Corporal Cody Evans and a soldier's journey home. The community stepped up to help this Marine and raised over $1,500 in cash, along with many commitments of labor and supplies. Lance Corporal Evans, a United States Marine, was injured in Afghanistan in 2011. While on patrol with fellow Marines of the 4th Combat Engineer Battalion with the Delta Company of Knoxville, he lost both legs in an IED explosion. Cody is now medically retired and currently lives with his mother, Regina, and his guide dog, Willie, in Speedwell. A Soldier's Journey Home is devoted to building adapted homes for Cody and military members like him who have suffered traumatic injury. Community involvement is vital to the success of the 2016 home build for Lance Corporal Evans. They are still asking for in-kind donations of building materials, financial support, and the donation of land for Cody's new home. To find out more about A Soldier's Journey Home and how you can help, you can visit their Facebook page or check out www.asoldiersjourneyhome.org. If you are interested in furthering your education, or if you are interested in criminal justice or public administration, you are invited to attend the reception to introduce both programs. The reception will take place at the LMU Duncan School of Law in downtown Knoxville this Thursday, November 19th. The Paul V. Hamilton School of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences master's programs include the Master of Science in Criminal Justice and the Master of Public Administration. Both are currently registering for the spring semester, with classes starting in January. The degree programs can be completed in as little as 18 months and feature night classes to suit working professionals. You will be able to meet faculty and administrators from the programs, as well as representatives from financial aid and admissions. The reception will be held from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and if you would like more information, you can contact Mark Travis at 865-531-5325 or send him an email at mark.travis@lmunet.edu. Zach Throckmorton, Ph.D., Assistant Professor of Anatomy at Lincoln Memorial University DeBuss College of Osteopathic Medicine, will present Homo naledi Strides Again. This presentation will take place this Saturday at 11 o'clock at the East Tennessee State University General Shell Natural History Museum Visitor Center and Gray Fossil Site in Gray, Tennessee. In his presentation, Throckmorton will discuss the process of discovering, describing, and sharing Homo naledi, the newest member of the genus Homo and a close relative of humans. He will answer questions about Homo naledi's appearance and how it interacted with its environment, as well as how it is related to people today. Another topic is the appearance that Homo naledi intentionally deposited bodies of its dead in a remote cave chamber, a behavior previously thought limited to modern humans. Now it is time to continue our latest segment on LMU Community TV. LMU Community TV and the Claiborne Animal Shelter have joined forces to bring you the Pet of the Week segment. These furry faces are available for adoption at the Claiborne Animal Shelter, so check it out. Everyone, this is the Pet of the Week segment, and today Liza from the Claiborne Animal Shelter brought with her Tiny, right?
Yeah.
All right, tell us a little bit about Tiny.
Well, Tiny is 4 years old, and she was an owner surrender. They couldn't take care of her anymore.
Okay.
But you can see she was very well cared
yes.
for. And they have her as a beagle mix.
Mm-hmm.
I still think she looks like kind of like a little fox. Show people your
Yeah.
little fox face.
There you go.
And she's as sweet as she can be. She's got a lot of energy.
Yes.
And she's very playful, and she's very loving. And she's a good deal for somebody who's looking for a pet that's a little bit older, but
Right.
still has a lot of energy that, they could go running or jogging with her, or she might even do well. I haven't seen her around kids.
Right.
But, with the energy level of kids or people that want to have somebody, just a companion to go out and play Frisbee. And she would be suitable for a younger family, an active family, a family that would spend a lot of time with her,
Okay.
too. I think that she's an inside dog.
Okay.
And she's not potty trained yet, but our kennel managers say that when they take her outside, she does potty. I think she might very well be. I think just because they don't have the time to take them out as often as they could,
Okay.
would be able to. So, but she's just a little sweetheart.
Okay.
And a love, and she's trying to escape right now.
Yeah, we're kind of holding her back, but that's
Right.
okay.
Are you gonna
That's
come
okay.
Walk around.
Yeah.
Come over here. Show everybody how cute you are.
She's very cute, and she has been wonderful while she's been here. She has shown a lot of energy. She actually kind of wore herself out just a few minutes ago. So this is kind of the mellow side of Tiny.
Yeah.
Her coat is so soft and shiny. We
Yeah.
were talking a few minutes ago that beagles have the type of fur that she has. So,
Yeah.
that is a possibility. But she has been wonderful. So tell everyone, if they want to learn more about little Miss Tiny here, how they would go about doing that.
Well, what you can do is you can go, we have an adoption application on our website,
Right.
claiborneanimalshelter.com, or they can come in and meet Tiny, which
Okay.
is always a good idea,
Yes.
especially if they have other pets or kids, to see how everybody gets along. And then, because she's already spayed, once their adoption application is approved, and their vet reference is a very important part of that.
Right.
We work with people who've never had a pet. Then she would be ready to go home that day because we don't have to wait to spay her.
Okay.
She's all up to date on her shots, and the adoption fee is $150.
Okay.
She'll be microchipped. She's already spayed, up to date on her shots, good to go.
Okay. All right, so if you are interested in learning more about Tiny, you can visit the website or even go out to the animal shelter and take a visit with her and see if you would like to make her a part of your family.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back. The LMU volleyball team finished off their regular season this past weekend with a trip to Mars Hill, North Carolina to face the Lions of Mars Hill University. LMU knew with a win they would be in the running for the top seed in the upcoming tournament. Neither team set the world on fire in the first set as they hit 158 and 143, but it was LMU who used a 4-1 run to end the first set 25-22. Set 2 went better for Mars Hill as they hit 296 in the set, but once again it was LMU who used a late 5-2 run to win the set 27-25. The Lady Rail Splitters got it going in the third set, hitting 324 and connecting on 15 kills, but had to hold off Mars Hill 26-24 to sweep the Lions 3-0. Kiara Holland led LMU with 11 kills while hitting 409 for the match. And with the win, LMU will open up the conference tournament Friday night over in Anderson, South Carolina as the 4th seed, and they'll face Catawba. The basketball season tipped off this past weekend with both teams in action on the road. The women started the season in Greenwood, South Carolina in the SAC versus Peach Belt Conference Challenge. Friday night they played host Lander and showed one of the top teams from the Peach Belt that they're not going to be a pushover. The Bearcats had the lead after the first quarter, 12-9, but it was LMU who would dominate the second quarter, 19-8, on their way to a halftime score of 28-20. LMU increased their lead by 2 at the end of the third quarter, but Lander used the fourth to chip away at LMU's lead. LMU's 12-point lead was trimmed down to 2 with 13 seconds when Lander's Breshade Johnson hit a jumper with 8 seconds left to tie the game. Then a Jasmine Kelly turnover led to a Bree Crum jumper with 2 seconds left, and Lander escaped with the win 58-56. Brittany Guy led LMU with 11 points. On Saturday, the ladies had to turn around and play USC Aiken. Aiken only hit 30% in the first quarter, but forced 7 LMU turnovers to lead after one 17-10. The second quarter is where LMU poured it on, shooting 71% and taking the halftime lead 34-28. The game was close throughout and into the fourth quarter. LMU's Josie Harding gave LMU the lead 64-62 with 57 seconds to go. But it was the Pacers who went on a 6-2 run over the last 39 seconds to pull out the win 68-66. Harding led LMU with 22 points and 7 rebounds in the loss. Now at 0-2, the ladies will be on the road once again on Wednesday evening when they'll travel to Banner Elk, North Carolina to face Lise McRae. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. The 5th-ranked Rail Splitters were in Bristol, Tennessee for the SAC versus Conference Carolinas Challenge. On Friday, they played regional power King University, and Tornado coach George Pitts had his team ready. The two teams went toe-to-toe in the first half, with the largest lead being a 7-point lead for LMU, with 7:13 to go before King came back to tie the game up at halftime, 40-40. In the second half, King proved to be too much. The Tornado hit 8 3-pointers while shooting nearly 58% in the second half as they upset LMU 83-69. Emmanuel Terry led LMU with 14 points in the loss. On Saturday, the Rail Splitters came out of the gate quicker, shooting nearly 52% in the first half, on their way to a 17-point halftime lead, 43-26 over Lise McRae. Neither team could find their defense in the second half as the two teams combined to shoot 48% and score 102 second-half points. But those points were split down the middle, 51-51, and LMU picked up their first win of the season, 94-77. LMU had 6 players in double figures, led by Luquan Choice, who scored 23. Now at 1-1 on the season, the men will return home this Thursday night for their home opener against Hiwassee College. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. LMU Sports Network coverage will start at 6:40 on LMU Community TV and 91.3 FM. In high school football playoff action from this past weekend, the Bell County Bobcats went on the road for the second round to face Powell County. Both teams came in with a massive rushing attack, and it showed on the night as the two combined for 493 yards. Bobcat running back Trayton Humphrey had 170 yards on 24 carries and 4 touchdowns, while the Pirates had 4 turnovers, and Bell County won 52-20. With the win, Bell County will move on to face Corbin in the regional championship. Corbin won the matchup earlier this season, 34-20. The Sprint Cup Series was in the desert at Phoenix International Raceway over the weekend. Coming into the chase, the only advertised night race was supposed to be Charlotte, but due to rain, it was moved into the next day. Sunday, the race was scheduled to start around 2 p.m. Eastern, but an unusual rainstorm forced the race to be delayed by 6 hours and into the nighttime. Once the race started, pole sitter Jimmy Johnson took off, leading 44 laps on the day before he was taken over by Kevin Harvick. Harvick was looking for a win and an automatic spot into the championship 4. Just past the midway point, a wreck between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Joey Gass brought out the caution, and it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. who passed Harvick on pit road to become the leader. Mother Nature must have been a Dale Jr. fan because while under caution, the heavens opened up again, and NASCAR called the race with 93 laps left to give Jr. his 3rd win of the season. Harvick had to settle for 2nd, followed by Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson. Logano, along with Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, and Kurt Busch, were eliminated from the chase, which leaves the contenders at 4 drivers. 4-time champion Jeff Gordon, who is retiring at the end of the year, defending champion Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, who missed the first 11 races of the season, and Martin Truex Jr., who was looking for his first championship while trying to become the first single-car team to win the championship since the mid-1990s. Now that's all for sports, but stay tuned after the break as Joseph Lewis will let us know if Love the Coopers or the 33 were good enough to knock off James Bond when he brings you the box office report when we return here on LMU Community TV News.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Hello, I'm Joseph Lewis, bringing you all the latest information in the world of movies. Tops at the box office this weekend were led once again by Spectre, adding $35 million onto its now $130 million domestic gross. Though its success in the U.S. is unsurprising, the bulk of its profits thus far come from foreign markets, where it has totaled an additional $413 million, already placing it on the list of Hollywood's biggest worldwide successes. Following at number 2, also for the second week in a row, was the Peanuts movie, taking another $24 million for a cumulative domestic total of $82 million. The nostalgia factor, positive reception from critics and audiences, and the fact that other kid-friendly movies like Goosebumps and Hotel Transylvania 2 are on the downswing are all contributing to its strong performance. And rounding out the top 3 was newcomer Love the Coopers, the Christmas-time comedy drawing $8 million in its debut, a relatively low figure considering its broad appeal and its star-studded cast. The week's other 2 major releases likewise conducted meager business, with the survival story The 33 pulling $5 million, while the total for sports drama My All-American just barely passed the $1 million mark. However, the weekend's true highlight came in the form of smaller movies, namely 4 adult-oriented prestige pictures, Spotlight, Suffragette, Room, and Brooklyn, all playing on less than 500 screens, all of which experienced significant increases in ticket sales thanks to positive greetings critically and commercially, and all of which are setting themselves up for what looks to be a competitive awards race. In review this week is Spectre, the hotly anticipated 24th installment in the now 5-decade-spanning James Bond franchise. Daniel Craig returns for his 4th and possibly final outing as 007, newly invigorated by the game-changing events of Skyfall and back out on the field to investigate the mysterious and sinister organization known as Spectre. Director Sam Mendes, previously responsible for Skyfall, returns to helm this entry, and the film is rendered a visual and visceral thrill ride courtesy of Interstellar and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema. Spectre differs from the other Craig entries in that it is the most conventionally Bond of any of them. From its go-for-broke cold open to its globe-trotting central mission to Christoph Waltz's maniacal, loquacious villain with accompanying underground lair, Spectre feels more of a piece with the old-school Sean Connery and Roger Moore installments. Though the end result lacks the emotional punch of Casino Royale or the thematic resonance of Skyfall, it remains an exciting and entertaining experience. What does carry over from the previous films is its progressivism. Spectre's Bond girl, taking the form of Léa Seydoux as psychologist Madeline Swan, immediately sets herself apart from Bond's cohorts turned lovers of the past in that she is not only a central figure in the plot, but also plays a major role in the action once it ramps up. Seydoux's performance is so memorably strong and energetic that in multiple instances she just about walks away with the entire movie. Offering a more traditional take on the archetype is Italian actress Monica Bellucci as the grieving wife of one of Bond's former targets, and while their interaction plays out exactly as expected, one wishes that a performer of Bellucci's caliber had been given a more substantial role. Spectre is also unique in that other members of MI6 are important to the central story. Ray Fine returns as Bond's superior Mallory, now assuming the codename M following the departure of Judi Dench, and his struggle comes in the form of Sherlock's Andrew Scott as C, a representative of the Joint Intelligence Service who seeks to dissolve MI6 into a larger global surveillance unit and shut down the 00 program for good. Seeing his employment and his relevance in jeopardy, M, alongside Ben Whishaw as creative mastermind Q and Naomi Harris as agent-turned-assistant-turned-agent Eve Moneypenny, finds himself conducting a coup of his own with unforeseen consequences. Hugely beneficial is the casting of scene stealer Christoph Waltz as the villain Franz Oberhauser, an intimidating figure previously thought dead with a cryptic connection to Bond's past and a dubious history of his own. Anyone who's seen his commanding turns in Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained knows that Waltz was practically born to play a Bond villain, from his distinctive look and accent to his trademark verbosity to his knack for creating a sense of menace, and all of these qualities serve to make Bond's latest foe a compelling figure. Guardians of the Galaxy's Dave Bautista is also well used as Oberhauser's #1 henchman, Mr. Hinks, a brutish assassin in the tradition of Oddjob and Jaws who engages Bond and Dr. Swan in an intense train fight reminiscent of Connery's brutal struggle with Robert Shaw in From Russia with Love. Spectre has been met with mixed responses, most likely due to its having to follow Skyfall, easily the best film of the series, containing its most meaningful story paired with its best-looking, best orchestrated, and most artistic action filmmaking. Though Spectre rarely hits those heights, it's no slouch either. The opening set piece, in which Bond traverses the streets of Mexico during its Day of the Dead festival, is a calculated tour de force, kicking things off with a jaw-dropping 5-minute tracking shot, leading into a thrilling pursuit that sets the stage for the revelations to follow. At 2.5 hours and officially the longest-running 007 picture to date, Spectre sometimes feels indulgent or excessive, but the fact that it revels in so many well-worn tropes from the series may make it that much more enjoyable for longtime fans. That's all for today in the world of movies. I'm Joseph Lewis.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Ben Adam Haley.
And for everyone behind the scenes here at LMU Community TV, I am Ashley Hurley. We will see you on Thursday.